Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome you to NISSMAT's podcast today on a very important subject, which is from service to civilian, being empowering veterans through the Army Welfare Placement Organization. The subject resonates deeply with our nation's ethos. The seamless transition of our brave military personnel into civilian life. After years of unwavering service, dedication, and sacrifice, our armed forces veterans possess an unparalleled skill set, discipline, and leadership qualities. But how do we ensure that these invaluable assets are effectively integrated into our civilian workforce? We are honored to have a distinguished guest, Major General Ajay Chauhan, who heads the Army Welfare Placement Organization, a pivotal entity dedicated to this very cause. He's a decorated officer, having been awarded the Shaurya Chakra and the Sena Medal. At the Army Welfare Placement Organization, Major General Chauhan, the Managing Director of the organization, is actively involved in facilitating second career opportunities for Army veterans, who often retire at a relatively young age between 35 to 40 years. He emphasizes the invaluable skills, discipline, leadership, and integrity that veterans bring to the workforce, and he works to bridge the gap between the military experience and the requirements of civilian industries. He has been instrumental in forging partnerships with various organizations, including hospitality and educational sectors, to create meaningful employment opportunities for ex-servicemen and their families. I begin the podcast by asking General Chauhan as to what does he see as the most significant challenge faced by veterans transitioning to civilian careers, and how is AWPO addressing them?
Firstly, Major Ahluwaliaa, thank you very much for inviting me on this podcast on your show, and indeed grateful. And I wish your series of podcasts all the very best right in the beginning. Thank you very much for highlighting the aspect of AWPO. So, you are aware that the Indian Army veterans retire with invaluable experience. And these experiences are not just, mere experience which they gain. It is under extremely challenging conditions. Discipline, leadership under high pressure, project execution, and crisis management. These are the skill set which they come from. Now, when I talk of challenges, yes, the first challenge when a person retires, you and me will agree, is the mindset. You have stayed in an organization for over 20, 25, 30 years, and you got a very strict, very disciplined, straightforward routine. And here you come in straightway into a civil domain where you are just not aware of what is actually happening unless you have worked on the same in the last year of your moving into the transition space. And that is the first, and the mindset is a very important aspect. Second is that recognition of the transferable or transformation of military skills into the I would say civilian job roles. So their skills, if I talk a whole lot of skills, I'm sure in the due course of our conversation, we will surely cover those skills which they carry with them. Third aspect, which I would also like to highlight here, is the cultural shift, a structured military environment to a more fluid and a commercially, directed civilian workspace. So this is another area which I feel, they find a challenge with our ex-servicemen. Next aspect, the civilian certification and licensing. While in the army, we undergo a large amount of courses. However, when you go outside, there is a requirement for anything you require. Even if I go for a job today after having served for 40 years, they will ask my high school certificate and a graduation certificate and those degrees. I think recognizing the work done within the organization, I think that is somewhere there is a gap between us and the outside world. And the
How,
first, yeah,
sorry, how do you bridge this gap? You recognize the gap, but how do you bridge the gap?
you see, for bridging this gap, we have the army thought very long ago to establish an organization like AWPO. So once the AWPO, you are aware, I'll just highlight the mandate. The organization is mandated for providing second career opportunities to our army veterans, people who are retiring. It is not only restricted to that. In addition, the widows of the martyrs, the dependents, the wards, all these are encompasses. We have a large canvas to provide. And how do we bridge this gap? Is the connect which we make, our organization makes with the corporate world or worlds outside. For this, my organization became an Army Welfare Placement Organization in 2010, and we have a pan-India network. There are 17 regional offices essentially covering the entire length and breadth of this country. Every state, for that matter, is covered by my organization. And we work on absolute on the corporate lines where the performance of each and every member of AWPO is judged by the output he gives. So our outreach, we have a very, very aggressive outreach program to reach out to the corporate, whether it is corporate, whether it is government sector, whether it is semi-government sector. And also, when we connect with these organizations, we definitely explain as to what does a soldier carries with him in terms of skill sets apart from the experience. Yeah.
The skill sets that are most wanted between the veterans and the civil society, which is the skill set that you find is the most wanted one?
You see, as far as your the skill sets which you have talked about today, leadership skills is one of the most important skill sets. Discipline and work ethics is another aspect which they look at. Teamwork. Whole life we have been into this. Without you today, one on the television, whenever you see a military action photograph, there is not a single person. They always, all minimum two people are visible. And you being from the armed forces, you're fully aware that we work in buddy systems. So a teamwork is a very, very important. Our basic fabric is made of teamwork. Next is the problem-solving skills. The aspect of high tolerance for ambiguity and area VUCA ready, that is also a very, very important aspect which I wanted to showcase here. VUCA is volatility, uncertainty, complexity, and ambiguity. So the tolerance for ambiguity is at a very, very high level, because during operations, our decision-making ability of our service personnel is very high when there are lack of orders. So therefore, these are the skill sets which these are the, I would say, the military attributes which actually are transferable into the corporate or the civil world.
At the junior level of the armed forces, people are used to taking orders and they function or respond to orders. Whereas in the civil life, people are expected to take independent decisions to complete a job. How do you bridge this gap?
Yeah, as far as that is definitely one of the aspects which require a lot of training. And before we actually provide them this kind of insight or counseling before they go. And also, I tell the corporate, you see, we are very, very aggressive as far as the reaching out to the corporate is concerned. And once we are in touch with them, we highlight these aspects. And definitely, we do not hide the the weaknesses. Yes, you're right. We are in the army. We are at the subordinate level. They take orders, but they have to carry out a kind of an orientation program. So once the orientation program with particular corporate is carried out, we insist that these aspects should be covered while orienting them, so that they are aware. And once it is just I would say a takeoff uh, empowerment from where they will be able to actually take off. So this we insist to the corporate to give them this kind of skill set. Yeah.
See, in the armed forces, we have a lot of disciplines. You have mechanical engineers, uh, you have people from the signals, you have people from the telecom industry, which brings the telecommunication thing. But majority of our workforce in the armed forces comes from the infantry. And in the market or in the corporate world, it is sometimes felt that the retired veterans are good only for security jobs. How do you change this mindset in the civilian world?
Yeah, that is the moment you see, as far as the security is concerned, the moment you put in on a uniform, any person putting on a uniform, he is considered to be fit for security. I think needs to be a change in the mindset in the environment. Today, in the armed forces itself, you yourself mentioned there are, if I divide the kind of people who are there, or the troops who are there are three major verticals: the non-technical ones, the technical ones, and then the operation and logistics. Now, these are the three major verticals I divide my armed forces or the army in. And as far as the first part is concerned, the non-technical, mind you, this is a jargon I'm using it, but most of them have become technical today. So they are empowered within the army over a period of time in their own service, along with their rank. Before every rank, they undergo upgradation course. In the army itself, I, for example, would have done almost 12 to 13 courses within the army itself. So that is where the experience comes in. As far as the armored infantry you talked about, and I would rather include artillery as well. So these are the people who have I would say upskilled themselves on the technical as well as in non-technical domains. They're good for administration, they're good for HR, they're good for crisis management, they're good for project management. Various courses are there in the army or in the DGR, the Director General Resettlement. They provide a large amount of courses where they are upskilled. So this is how their skill sets are developed. And as I mentioned, as he travels within the army over a period of time, he is able to upskill himself into various domains, whether it is technical or non-technical. And therefore, they are the right fits today. If I may say, if I talk of officers, people are MBAs, people are PhDs, they have gone into education. So any sector you take, you will find one of them today. Now, I can quote very good examples in the semiconductor domain. We have an armored corps officer today as a colonel who's heading, vice president in the semiconductor domains itself. So there are wonderful success stories of these officers of the armored infantry and artillery. I talked of the non-technical ones who have done exceedingly well. And I think things are changing. People are, by and large, understanding the skill set which are the personnel carry with them, and hopefully better days would the corporate will see that there are better talent available within the armed forces apart from security.
So how do you go about as AWPO educating the corporate world as to the skill sets that are available within the armed forces in various technical trades or otherwise, and where you could use these people? How do you go about bridging this gap? Because I feel that this gap needs to be bridged. And unless bridged properly, the numbers that will be taken up in the corporate world would be relatively low.
Right. So, as far as bridging the gap with the corporate is concerned, or I would say creating visibility of the skill set of the personals or what or the veterans. One is that we have a website called xarmynokri.com, and this website is a state of art. It's been upgraded. It has got registration for employers, for employees, and we have a corporate presentation also incorporated into it. If the corporate wants to see, they're most welcome. As far as then is the next is the outreach program. When we carry out outreach with the corporate, we register them with us, and then we give them a proper overview as to what all skill sets we have with us. This is either through video conferencing or physical this thing. And all my 17 regional offices which are existing today, starting from Jammu, Jalandhar, Ambala, Jaipur, Ahmedabad, Mumbai, Pune, Bangalore, Quantum, in every state. So all of them have got that outreach within the regional areas. Okay. So, and they are the ones who carry out briefings of the HR from the corporate or any other domain. And that is how we try and highlight the skill sets of our person.
So the regional offices that you have, do they wait for people to call them, or they go out themselves to contact?
No. You see, I mentioned we have a very, very aggressive outreach, parameters, and definitely it is being monitored at one place. So they have to go. No, we don't wait for people to reach out to us. We are on, and we explore the social media today. We are on LinkedIn. We are on all digital platforms, you name it, and we are there. WhatsApp, whether it is Facebook or Instagram. So we are presently in all these domains, and the regional officers have got the mandate to as we speak, we are already in touch with 3 companies getting into memorandum of understanding. So in fact, today morning I had a meeting right in my office, highlighting the skill sets of and giving them an overview of our veterans. So our collaboration actually begins with outreach. We proactively engage HR heads, industry bodies, and CSR wings of companies to educate them about the value of these of hiring veterans. Once interest is generated, we share tailored candidates profiles based on the job roles and required competencies.
Just to sort of ask a very pertinent questions. Let's say you place 100 veterans. How many of them you would say have become successful in the job that they've taken?
Yeah, if we have placed about 100 veterans, now it is between the employer and the employee. Once the job has to suit the individual also. So it depends as to how good are the working conditions. Yeah. So, and I think the employer has to give some time to the veterans to get adjusted to the environment. So if you say that if you have placed about 100 of them, definitely they stay there. Rather, I wouldn't say that they move out of an organization unless the working conditions are hard. They have a very, very harsh HR or a manager. So otherwise, they are matured people and they stay there. Yeah.
One of the things that I've noticed in the corporate world generally is the HR manager is in the age bracket of 30, 35 years old. All the youngsters there, and when the veterans, they sort of, especially in the officer cadre, when they retire, they are at a much older profile. They find it sometimes difficult to adjust between the age groups that they are functioning in. Some of them adjust, some of them also find it very difficult to adjust. So what would you advise them? How to
Yeah,
stay?
you're right. People who get adjusted are the successful ones, definitely. I think this aspect, even we tell our veterans, because today outside, especially in the corporate, there is a younger generation which is at the higher this thing, and they are moving out at a slightly later time frame into the corporate sector. So I do tell we do counsel them on establishing good rapport with and the corporate leadership. They do understand, but my advice would be that I think egos and the ranks and all, I think they have to give it a thought. So outside, if even if a younger boss is there, there's no harm, because both of you are working for the same organization. I feel there shouldn't be any ego hassles with respect to the functioning, and the personals or the officers are very accustomed to this kind of an environment inside when they work, because they are very good leaders at a young age. So same thing, they copy it outside. This is the advice I give them, that yes, you have to shed your ego and wo- work hard and party harder.
What are the changes that you brought into AWPO since you took charge?
See, it is a joint effort. If I talk only of mine, it'll be incorrect. I have very eminent predecessors with me before me, and it's an organization which has been built over a years, and a lot of hard work has been. So everyone puts his own bit. And as far as I'm concerned, yeah, technology has been in the forefront today, and unless you be with the technology, you will be expelled outside. So therefore, embracing technology has been one of the major areas which I have focused. Establishing relations or networking with the corporate has been another aspect. We have upgraded, or we have created a new website of AWPU, which has got multi function, including counseling, including resume, including training. It also has the corporate, I would say, registration facility. It provides you advertisements. It provides you coaching for government job. We have it provides you test this thing on competence mapping. So there is a training section, there is a employment section, there is entrepreneurship section. So I have focused on developing this website because it's a one tool which can be used anywhere and anytime. That is one. Second, I have focused on the placement of on the industry specific skilling programs, entrepreneurship. These are another aspect which I have highlighted. We are developing training programs, and we are looking at through the corporate. We have tried to empower our people in the niche skill sets like drone pilots. We have created solar panel technicians, almost 500 of them. We have a team of almost 100 drone pilots available across the country. E-vehicles in another area, I think, which is tremendous amount of demand today. Tally accounting system, creating cloud kitchen. So making entrepreneurs also has been one of the focus areas of mine, and I'm happy to share that there are some very good success stories of people have been able to open restaurants or and started earning, making the livelihood and better quality of life. So then is in the government sector, in the coaching sector, I talked about. Today we have the armed forces are given reservation in various government central government examinations, and at the state level, state government levels also. However, our personnel are not able to clear those examinations because of valid reasons. They have not got time to study at that point in time. So we have started coaching for government jobs, and I'm happy to share that we have a very good success rate. Rather, we have trained almost 1,600 ex-servicemen, and about 46% success rate we have been able to achieve. Widows, placement of or empowering widows are concerned. In those areas also, digital literacy is one area, I think, which is very, very important and needs a focus. So that those areas we have also gone in through CSR, corporate social responsibility to corporate. So we have trained widows, and this year we placed approximately over 300 widows into various sectors. So, placement has been a major focus of mine as to how to enhance the satisfaction level of my ex-servicemen or the veterans. That has been, I think I'm very fortunate that I have a wonderful team of with AWPO with me, Pan India, and it's a joint effort. I'm alone, Managing Director of the Army Welfare Placement Organization can't do thing. It requires extremely compassion, I would say, or a compassionate mindset, and also a continuous focus in that direction. So I'm happy to share that we have been able to place about over 16,000 JCUs and Jawans. So I have a satisfaction level of approximately 33% this year, which is overall 37% enhancement in the officers. We placed 450 officers this year. If 1,200 retire and 300 get into re-employment, 900 out of 900, about 450 officers being placed in 2024. I think it's a good growth, I consider. Thank you.
The officers will be going into what job roles?
Yeah, this aspect also I want to highlight. Good, you asked me this question. I talked about the three verticals: the non-technical, technical, and operational logistics. They are going into multiple roles. They are going as administrators. They are going into management of education institutions. They are going into manufacturing sector. They are going into construction and engineering sector. Even in IT, officers have gone. So it is not restricted now to what you mentioned, that restricted towards security. I think we have a very good database, I would say, or a skilled human national resource which needs to be recognized, and it will create a win-win situation to even for the corporates, if I may say so. Yeah.
How do you differentiate yourself from the DGR, from the Director?
DGR is yes, it's a Director General Resettlement. They are more focused on towards I would say resettlement courses. Today, DGR provides you very good resettlement courses for JCOs and Jawans, and even for officers in various domains, whether it is IT sector, whether it is supply chain management, whether it is administration, even independent directors. I will highlight this aspect also. Today, every year, 60 to 70 senior officers get qualified as independent directors from premier institutions. Here is a reservoir of independent directors. The corporate needs to understand this, the quality which I mentioned, the leadership qualities or the ethics, values, work ethics, and what have you, or the integrity aspect. These are the people who are sitting to be, who can be a wonderful asset in terms of independent directors to the corporate. The place to get independent directors, get in touch with AWPO, and we will be able to, facilitate these officers. So DGR is a one, and second is he provides security agencies to the which are there in the public sector. That is also one of the major mandate of DGR. Petrol pumps, management of petrol pump, management of CNG. This thing, even for JCOs and Aman, the Safal, the mother dairies. So these are the things which the DGR actually provides. So it's a tri-services organization. It comes under the Department of Ex-Servicemen Welfare under the Ministry of Defence, and it is a very, very powerful organization for the support of the veterans.
A very personal question. What inspired you to take on the role of the Managing Director of AWPO? What were your personal motivations?
Yeah, that is. Yeah, you see, having worn the uniform for decades and known the insight of our troops, I understand the unique pride, challenges, and aspirations that come with the life in the armed forces. When the opportunity arose to lead AWP, I saw it was a chance to give back to the society or to this organization. And mind you, it's an eye opener for me personally. One had not imagined that this is the canvas on which one is going to work. And my personal motivation stems from the belief that those who have served the nation deserves continued dignity, purpose, and security in this area. And it is not only giving jobs to them. It is actually, you are giving job to one person. I think more is the satisfaction you are giving to his family. A person comes to me for a job, but why has he come? I understand, because he's got a daughter. You see the age at which they are retiring. Today they retire, their retirement starts at 35. No other organization in the country where people retire at the age of 35 or 45. Every government organization, it is minimum age is 60. And here is a chap who's standing in front of me with the age of 40 when he's got a child studying in class 10 and a daughter who's got to go to college, and pension is very minuscule. And therefore, he requires a job. So when you provide a job to one individual, it is the entire family which gets the satisfaction. And the more happiness they get, I think, for me, happiness is... So
you get a lot of Ashirwad from everyone.
Ashirwad, definitely. Not Ashirwad. That's my job. I think I have been mandated for that. And the more I do, I think more satisfaction I get, more than anyone else. Yeah.
So tell me something. If somebody was to walk up to you and who's looking for a job, he doesn't go to your staff, he comes to you. What advice would you give him?
Yeah, I see. You see, everything cannot be worked through rules or guidelines. These are just guidelines for me. I see the priority first. The advice which I give him first is empower yourself. But if he's empowered, if he's looking for a job, I see what is the urgency for his job. That is very important.
Urgency of the fitment. What would you do first? Urgency or the fitment?
I look at the urgency because his requirement is more. At this stage, if I tell him to go and start learning, and it will take another 1 year to understand and learn. And once he comes back, I think the
job is gone.
Yeah. So I'll tell you. I'll give you both sides. One boy, a Sipai, came to me. So not to me. He went to one of the regional offices director directly. He said, "Sir, I am in requirement of a job, and my age is just about 37." And this gentleman was actually engaging drivers. He said, "Do you know driving?" He said, "No." He said, "Go and learn driving." This boy went. He learned driving for 15 days, and he learned driving. Came back. He never drove. None of his family had ever driven a vehicle. This guy learned driving, came back to him, and he got a job. And today he is one of the drivers with Bihar Police. driving the 112 emergency response vehicle.
That's excellent. That's excellent.
Yeah, so this is a live example. You see the happiness. And this boy sends me, when he sends me the video, sir, this is, I'm driving this vehicle. So more than him, I get the happiness.
So what advice would you give to the potential employers in the corporate world? Because when they are hiring, they come with a very different idea. कि भी I'm going to take up a ex-serviceman, तो मेरे लिए पता नहीं क्या चार चांद लगा देगा. How do you bridge that gap?
You see, don't look at the ex-servicemen into verticals. Generally, the corporate, what they do, they put into verticals, but they have a system. That's their system of function. I think he's a comprehensive package. A veteran, an ex-serviceman is a comprehensive package. He has to look into with that perspective as to how I can utilize it. So yes, skill set, definitely the qualifications which you are looking, definitely you look at that. But let us now go beyond security. Let's not, stick.
Society is there are many better opportunities, and I think the veterans can provide much more than mundane jobs.
Yeah, yeah. So I think that the mindset has to change with the employer also, or the corporate also. They have to understand that yes, they are, because the amount of experience and training which a veteran undergoes is mind-boggling. You yourself would bear with me. So this kind of skill set, if he's got, when I talked of tolerance for ambiguity, taking decision, crisis response mechanism is very fast act. So these are the things which I recently visited one of the multinationals in Mumbai. I was more than happy to see almost 100 of them working, veterans working into their company. And so there, if those people from it's a US based company, if they can employ veterans, I think there is a I would say a need to understand the potential of veterans in a different perspective. They are a national resource, and utilize them to your advantage to create a win-win situation.
Absolutely. I'd gone to the United States and I visited an organization that only employed veterans in the United States.
Yeah,
and the output of that organization far exceeded those of its competitors. So, that's something that we need to sort of educate the corporate world that if they do so, they're going to have a better output.
Yeah, they are experienced. They know the job. It's not that, and they are very, very fast at uptake. Very, very fast, because they have experience. So little bit of a orientation, do orient them properly. Give them time and understand. And I think they will, in any vertical. We are working with the hotel industry now, pan India, and it's a US based company. They are hiring veterans. They are hiring widows. They are hiring my dependents as well. As we speak, inclusive programs are underway in 3 of the metros today itself. So these are the opportunities. I think our own corporate have to understand and take it on ASAP.
So you had the Agniveers coming into the armed forces. So the Agniveers who get ejected at an early stage, are they also working through the AWPO for getting jobs?
No, as of now, no. Once the status of Agniveer is clear, I'm sure we will be able to take on. As of now, I'm not looking at it, Agniveer per se, but surely once the Agniveer, once the Ministry of Defense tells us whatever is the ruling on Agniveer, we will definitely take them.
So if you were to advise the corporate world as to how successful integration of veterans into civil life can be, what would you tell them?
This thing is for the today. I think the corporate world have to understand the potential of our veterans. That is first, And second is, why can't we merge together and work together to utilize their potential? One thing I can straight away bring out is, why can't we have internship program based absorption? You please take them for 3 months, train them, test them, and employ them. If you don't find them suitable, please leave them. At least you give them a certificate. So the veterans have got potential. They have it in them. Please explore them in terms of technical skills, non-technical skills, social skills. And second is, take the best. You are not doing a welfare to us. You take we AWPO, organization like AWPO will support you if you want the best people to work with. We will provide you the best of the veterans to work with you. So this program which I talked of, if internship and make them industry ready and absorb them, I think that is one thing which I am looking at.
Ladies and gentlemen, to conclude the session today, I'd like to thank Major General Ajay Chauhan for the immense light that he has shed on this organization, AWPO. It is clear that this organization is much more than a placement agency. It is a lifeline for thousands of veterans and their families, ensuring their dignity and continued contribution to society. The dedication to a no-profit, no-loss model, coupled with a nationwide network and a focus on skill matching, truly exemplifies a commitment to welfare. As they continue to connect skilled ex-army personnel with deserving opportunities, AWPO strengthens not just individual lives, but also our national workforce. Thank you, General Chauhan, for sharing your insights on this vital mission that you've undertaken.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. Thank you very much. Jai Hind.
Jai Hind, sir. Thank you.